Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Lady Peace. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to make this simple crop top with a funnel sleeve. If you're interested in content like this, please go ahead and hit on the subscribe button and please turn on the notification bell so you'll be notified when I upload a new video. Without wasting much of your time, let's just get right into today's video. To make this blouse, you will need at least 1.5 yard of fabric, but if you're on a bigger size, you will need at least 2 yard for this. So the material I'm using, it's a little bit colorful. I'll be using this pattern paper here to first draft this out so that it can be more visible for you guys. Then I'll now transfer that to the fabric. So right here, these are the drawing materials, and I'm going to be using the upper part here as our shoulder line. Normally I would have drawn a line at the top, but because the pattern paper I'm using is not enough, so I'll just use the upper part here as the shoulder line. So I've gone ahead to mark my neckline, which is 4 by 4, 4 inches width and 4 inches for the neck depth. So I will just use this now and connect a curve just like this. So once I'm done with this, the next thing I'm going to do is to take my shoulder measurement, and that is 7.5. so from that point I'm going to come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Once you're through, you're just going to go ahead and then connect it back to your neck width just like this. So once you're through connecting it this way, the next thing you're going to do is from that point you're going to mark your bust point. Okay, so shoulder to bust point, shoulder to under bust, and shoulder to the waistline, like where you want your blouse to stop. After marking that, I'm just going to go ahead and then connect all those dotted lines to give me a straight line. So I'll be using my pen here to just connect a straight line across all those points. Okay, so this here is my bust point. Here is the waistline, which we normally know this as your under bust, and here is the full length. Now where you see me mark this WL, that's the waistline, it's not necessary. Okay, so you can just mark your bust point and the full length of your blouse, like where you want it to stop. That's just what we need for here, and the chest line. So from the bust point, I went up by 2 inches for my chest line, and I just went ahead to connect a straight line across, and right here is the chest line. So the next thing I'm going to do is to connect my armhole, and this is something I normally do on my videos here, so I'll just go ahead and connect this armhole. So I'm going to measure half of my shoulder measurement here on the chest line just to get like a straight line across. So I'll use my ruler, connect a straight line across to the chest line just like this, and after then I'm just going to go ahead and connect the armhole. So guys, on the chest line here, I'm going to mark my round bust divided by 4, and I'm going to add 1 inch to it for ease. Like, you need ease for this particular blouse because we're not going to be adding a zipper to this. So I added, instead of marking 10 inches, I marked 11 inches. Now on the full length of this blouse, which is like the hip line, I'm going to mark my round bust divided by 4, which is 10 inches. Now instead of marking my round hip, I'm just marking my round bust here. Okay, so I'll mark it here, and then I'm going to connect from the chest line down to the hemline. I'll just connect it just like this. After connecting this, I'm also going to go ahead and connect my armhole and then cut it out. So guys, this is what I had after I was done cutting this out, and I'm going to now use this to cut on my fabric. But before then, let's go ahead and draft our basic sleeve. So I've gone ahead to place another pattern paper here, which is on fold, and we're going to draft out our basic sleeve. So first thing I'm going to do is, please take note that this part here is on fold, and we are going to use this upper part here as the shoulder line, and the measurement I have here is 20 inches. The measurement I'm using is 23 inches. You can see that this pattern paper is not even enough. So what I'm going to do is, once I'm done cutting this, I'm now going to add extra inches to it on the fabric. From the shoulder line here, I'll come down by 4.5 inch. I will make a point here, and then I'll go ahead and connect a straight line. You can decide to make use of 5 inches. That line here is just for our sleeve cap. So if you use 5 inches, it is totally fine. And the next thing I'm going to do is to take shoulder to my elbow. So remember, this is a long basic sleeve, so shoulder to elbow, I've marked it there, and I'm going to connect a straight line across just like this as well. Once you're through, the next thing is to take shoulder to where you want your sleeve to stop. Okay, so I'll mark it here, and like I said, I wanted mine to stop at 23 inches, or I want mine to stop at 23 inches, and what I have here is 20 inches. So I'll just make use of the full length. When I'm cutting this on fabric, I'll add the extra inches to it. And from the center part, I went in by 4 inches. After marking that 4 inches point, place your tape on that area down to your biceps line and divide what you have by 2 and make a point just like what I did here. And on this biceps line here, I'm going to now mark my round, like the measurement around my armhole. Mine is 14 inches, and that divided by 2 is 7 inches. I also went ahead to add 1 inch for ease. So remember, while we were drafting our patterns, we added 1 inch for ease. Please make sure that when you are drafting your basic sleeve, you add your stitching allowance, and you also add your ease, like allowance for ease. Okay, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So first thing I'm going to do is to connect a curve, and this position that I place my curve through is totally wrong. I would have edited this part, but I just want you guys to please take note of this so you don't make the same mistake. Okay, so that's why I did not edit this part. So what I'm going to do is, this is not how I'm supposed to place my curved rule. This is how you are supposed to place it. This is the correct way to place your curved ruler. So I'm going to place it from this point here down to that point that I made a point, like down to the center part here. So I'll connect it down to the center part somewhere here. So once I'm through, I will now turn it over. You can see that at this point I decided to slow my reduce the speed of this video a little so you understand better. So when you turn it over like this, you will now connect another line down to the biceps line. So this line here is not needed. Like I said, I would have edited that part, but I just wanted you guys to learn something from it. Please make sure you are not making this same mistake that I made here. So now that we are through with this part, the next thing is to come to our elbow line, and you're going to take the measurement around that part. Okay, the measurements around your elbow. For me, it was 10 inches, and half of 10 inches is 5 inches. So I'm going to also add 1 inch for ease, which will make it 6 inches. Now the mistake I did was I was supposed to also add my stitching allowance. Okay, so whenever you are drafting this, please do well to add your stitching allowance to it. Now after that, I will just connect all those points like this. Connect from the biceps down to your elbow line, and then the next measurement we are going to take is on our sleeve length. Okay, so you're going to place your tape on that area, like where you want your sleeve to end. So I want mine to stop somewhere around here, and the measurement around is 7 inches. Make sure that when you are taking that measurement, it is not too tight. And now I divided that 7 inches by 2, which was 3.5, and I added 1 inch to it, making it 4.5. Remember, I have been adding 1 inch for ease. Okay, like I said, please add stitching allowance as well. So I didn't take note of this. It was later after cutting this out that I realized I was supposed to add my stitching allowance, but I had a way that I had to maneuver everything. So please, I'm pleading again, don't forget to add your stitching allowance to it. So I'm just going ahead to cut this out just like this, and once I'm through cutting this out, I'm just going to go ahead and then open this up so you see how your basic sleeve is supposed to be. So if you are cutting this directly on your fabric, this is how it's supposed to be. Make sure that your fabric is on fold. Okay, when you are cutting this directly on your fabric, make sure that it is on fold. So now that I'm done with this, I'm going to transfer this now to my fabric. So guys, I've placed this now on my fabric, and take note that this fabric is folded into 4, and that's because we are going to be cutting the 2 sleeves together. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, remember I had to add 3 inches to this part to give me my 23 inches like I told you guys, but I also went ahead to add 1 inch because we are going to fold the end of our sleeve. Okay, so whatever you do, make sure you add 1 inch for the folding allowance. And now the next thing I did, I'm going to do is from the center of this my sleeve, I'm sure you're wondering where the fonel hand is, so that's what we are trying to recreate now. From the center, I went out by 13 inches. Please take note of this part. From the center part of your paper or your fabric, you're going to go out by 13 inches, and from this biceps line, I went out by 1 inch. So I'll connect from that 1 inch point down to the 13 inches point. Okay, so if you want yours to be bigger than this, you can go ahead and make use of 14 or maybe 15 inches, and if you want yours to be smaller, you can also go ahead and then mark 12 inches. Okay, so you're going to connect it this way and go ahead and cut it out. After cutting this is what I have now. I'm sure you're wondering where the pointed area is, like the fonel hand, right? So this is how to get it. From this point, I'll be going up by 2 inches. Now if you want yours to come out very pointed, you can use 2.5 inches, and if you don't want yours to be too pointed, you can use 1.5, but I think the highest you can go is 2.5. So from this point, I'll connect it back to this area here. So please pay attention. I will just use my ruler to connect from this point here back to this other area here, just like this, and I'll just go ahead and cut it out. It's as simple as this. So this is just how to get that fonel sleeve. I don't know if they call this sleeve fonel sleeve, but I think I'm correct. So I'll just go ahead and cut it out, and then I'll just go ahead, remove my needles, and open this up for you guys to see. So I'll just remove my needles just like this, and I'll remove my pattern paper, and this is it here. So right now, remember the pattern we drafted for our blouse? I've gone ahead to cut it out, and I added 1 inch allowance on this area here. Remember, I didn't add allowance for my, I didn't add stitching allowance. And on the down part area here, I also added 1 inch for the folding allowance. Now if you take note of the neckline and the armhole, you will notice I didn't add any stitching allowance to it. So I went ahead to cut out both the front and the back. So I'm going to open them right side facing each other, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch my shoulders. I will advise you pipe your neckline before doing this, or you can as well go ahead and stitch your shoulders before you pipe your neckline. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to stitch my shoulders with 1/2 inch, and after then I'm going to go ahead and close up my sleeve areas. So for the sleeve area here, after stitching the shoulders, I'm now going to notch the center of my sleeve. I think I'm a little bit too fast. I totally apologize for that. So notch this area just like this, and you're going to place them right side facing each other. You're now going to place it exactly on that area where you stitch your shoulders. Make sure the part you notch, you are just placing it exactly on that point, and you are going to use your needle to just pull it down. Now because I didn't add stitching allowance to my sleeve, you are going to notice that the blouse is longer than the sleeve. Like once you are going to take note of that, you will see that the blouse is actually longer than the sleeve, and that's because I didn't add stitching allowance to the sleeve. That's why I said when you are drafting your sleeve, please take note of that part. You can see that at this point here my blouse was longer than the sleeve. So this is what I have after I was done. I went ahead to do same for the both side, and this is how the sleeve looks. This is this other side as well. So now the next thing I'm going to do is I went ahead to pipe the neckline off camera, guys, and I didn't have black bias. I even went ahead to use my blue bias. I just make sure that the thing is not showing outside. I was so fast on this particular video, and I totally apologize for that, guys. So this is how everything came out. This is how beautiful this looks. So thanks for watching this video. If you watch this far without subscribing, please go ahead and hit on the subscribe button. Do well to share this video, and please do well to give this video a thumbs up, and lastly drop a comment for me. Let me know what you think about this in the comment section. Thank you for your time. Thank you for always coming around to check on my videos. For all my old subscribers, thank you, and I love you guys. Bye.